and peach. Wait a second. This looks almost identical. The eggs. Where's the eggs?
My dream, my wish. And it didn't come true. So I'm taking it back.
In 1985, as Hollywood churned out polished blockbusters with massive budgets and established stars, a scrappy adventure film about misfit kids from the wrong side of the tracks dared to put children in genuine peril. The Goonies wasn't supposed to be a cultural touchstone. Created with a modest $19 million budget that wouldn't cover the catering bill for most Spielberg productions today, it was a strange hybrid of children's adventure and surprisingly mature coming-of-age tale. The practical effects sometimes showed their seams. The young actors occasionally fumbled lines.
What you reading? Practice, rehearse with what do we do? Rehearse with your props. Where are you gonna be? Get your mark, be there.
And the protagonists were more concerned with saving their homes and finding pirate gold than becoming heroes. Yet something about this peculiar film struck a chord that still resonates nearly 4 decades later. Perhaps it was the refreshing authenticity, while other family films wrapped children in cotton wool and sanitized danger. The Goonies hurled its young cast into underground caverns, face to face with armed criminals, and through genuinely frightening booby traps. Maybe it was how the film managed to capture the unfiltered experience of being a kid, the casual profanity, the awkward crushes, the boundless imagination, while never forgetting to include thrilling adventure sequences worthy of Indiana Jones. What's certain is that the Goonies carved out a unique space in cinema history, grossing over $125 million worldwide and becoming a cultural phenomenon that continues to influence filmmakers today. It proved that family entertainment didn't need to be watered down or excessively wholesome to capture imaginations. It just needed heart, genuine stakes, and the courage to ask, what if the extraordinary adventure of a lifetime happened to the most ordinary kids imaginable? Today, we're diving into how this unlikely success story came to be, why it continues to resonate decades later, and how a film about a ragtag group of misfits searching for pirate treasure created one of cinema's most enduring celebrations of childhood friendship and adventure. What set The Goonies apart from other family films of its era was the sheer craftsmanship behind its production. In 1985, before CGI revolutionized filmmaking, creating an underground pirate adventure required ingenuity, engineering, and old-fashioned movie magic. The film's production design by J. Michael Riva transformed sound stages into elaborate cave systems with multiple levels, waterways, and hidden chambers that felt genuinely ancient and dangerous. These weren't flimsy sets. They were immersive environments that allowed the young actors to physically interact with their surroundings, lending authenticity to their performances. The crown jewel of the production was undoubtedly the pirate ship, Inferno. This wasn't a miniature or partial construction. It was a full-sized, 105-foot vessel built inside a massive water tank on Warner Bros. Stage 16. The cast members weren't told about the ship before filming the discovery scene, leading to genuine reactions of awe when the massive set was revealed.
I never let the kids see this boat. They were banned from the stage.
As Sean Astin later recalled, "We knew there was a ship at some point in the script, but walking onto that soundstage and seeing that enormous, perfectly detailed pirate ship floating in real water, our jaws literally dropped." This commitment to practical effects created a tangible sense of wonder that digital effects often struggle to replicate. Director Richard Donner brought unexpected sophistication to what could have been a straightforward children's film. Fresh from directing Superman and Lady Hawk, Donner applied his kinetic visual style to the underground sequences, using dynamic camera movements and creative framing to enhance the sense of motion and danger. His decision to shoot many scenes with handheld cameras gave the film its breathless energy and immersive quality. Particularly impressive is the water slide sequence, which combined practical effects, careful stunt coordination, and innovative underwater photography to create one of the film's most exhilarating moments. The production faced numerous challenges, particularly when working with water. The famous wishing well scene was filmed in a 30-foot deep water tank, with extensive safety measures for the young actors. The underground pools and waterways required careful temperature control and multiple safety divers just out of frame. Adding to these difficulties was the challenge of directing a primarily young cast through physically demanding sequences, while maintaining energy and consistency across multiple takes.
I never really looked at Goonies. Maybe I made a mistake. I never saw it as a fantasy or a fairy tale. It's a true story. We just happen to be documenting the lives of a group of kids in a little town in Astoria, and the kids call themselves the Goonies.
Donner's approach was to foster a playful but focused environment, encouraging improvisation while maintaining control of the complex production. Throughout filming, Steven Spielberg's influence remained evident, not just as producer, but as a storytelling mentor. His signature themes, suburban settings threatened by extraordinary events, the wisdom of children versus skeptical adults, and the power of friendship against overwhelming odds, are woven throughout the narrative. It was Spielberg who fought to keep some of the film's edgier moments intact, understanding that the danger needed to feel real for the adventure to resonate. This balance of genuine threat with heartfelt emotion became the template for countless family adventure films that followed. The Goonies owes much of its enduring appeal to its perfectly assembled cast, whose authentic performances and irresistible chemistry elevated the film beyond a simple treasure hunt. At the center of this ensemble was Sean Astin as Mikey Walsh, the asthmatic dreamer whose unwavering belief in finding One-Eyed Willie's treasure drives the entire adventure. Astin, just 13 during filming, brought a sincerity to Mikey that anchored the film's more fantastical elements. His iconic "This is our time" speech in The Wishing Well remains one of cinema's most genuine rallying cries, delivered with a conviction that's impossible to fake. This early role foreshadowed Astin's later career playing earnest, determined characters, most notably as Samwise Gamgee in The Lord of the Rings trilogy, another loyal friend on an impossible quest. Josh Brolin made his film debut as Mikey's older brother Brand, bringing surprising depth to what could have been a one-dimensional protective sibling. Brolin's physical commitment to the role, spending much of the film either in athletic pursuit of the younger kids or handcuffed to various objects, showcased the physicality that would later define his career in films like No Country for Old Men and Avengers: Infinity War. What makes Brand memorable is his evolution from reluctant babysitter to committed treasure hunter, a transformation Brolin conveys with subtle shifts in attitude rather than dramatic declarations. Perhaps the most technically demanding role belonged to Ke Huy Quan as Data, the gadget-obsessed inventor whose homemade devices alternate between saving the day and comically failing at the worst possible moment. Fresh from his role as Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Quan brought infectious enthusiasm and physical comedy to Data, performing many of his own stunts involving the character's various contraptions. The pinchers of peril and slick shoes became instant favorites among young viewers, inspiring countless homemade inventions in backyards across America. Decades later, after a long hiatus from acting, Quan would win an Academy Award for Everything Everywhere All at Once, proving that the talent evident in his youthful performance was no fluke. The film's most iconic character may well be John Matusak's Sloth, the deformed Fratelli brother whose friendship with Chunk creates the emotional heart of the film. Hidden under pounds of prosthetics that took 5 hours to apply daily, former NFL player Matusak created a character of surprising tenderness and pathos. The reveal of Sloth's Superman t-shirt as he comes to the rescue remains one of the film's most triumphant moments, while his bonding with Chunk offers a touching counterpoint to the main treasure hunt narrative. Jeff Cohen's performance as Chunk, particularly the infamous Truffle Shuffle and his tearful confession to the Fratellis, provided both comic relief and unexpected emotional depth. The villainous Fratelli family, led by Anne Ramsey's terrifying Mama Fratelli, created antagonists who were genuinely threatening without becoming too frightening for younger viewers. Ramsey's performance is particularly memorable, balancing menace with dark comedy in scenes like the infamous blender threat. These weren't cartoonish villains, but criminals willing to kill, giving real stakes to the children's adventure. What makes The Goonies resonate beyond its adventure plot is how these performances illuminate the film's central themes of loyalty, belonging, and finding strength in difference. Each Goonie is an outsider in some way: asthmatic, overweight, talkative, foreign, poor. Yet together, they form an unbreakable unit. The film's most memorable line, "Goonies never say die," isn't just a catchy phrase, but the emotional core of the story. A declaration that friendship and determination can overcome seemingly impossible odds. This message, delivered through authentic performances rather than saccharine preaching, helps explain why the film continues to connect with new generations of viewers decades after its release. When The Goonies first hit theaters in June 1985, critics were notably divided in their assessments. The New York Times dismissed it as noisy, relentless, and ultimately exhausting, while others praised its energy and imagination. Vincent Canby complained about the film's constant shouting and bickering, a criticism that seems to miss the point of how actual children behave on exciting adventures. What these initial reviews failed to recognize was that the very elements they criticized, the chaotic energy, the overlapping dialogue, the occasional crudeness, were precisely what made the film feel authentic to its young audience. Despite these mixed critical reactions, audiences embraced The Goonies wholeheartedly, turning it into the 8th highest-grossing film of 1985. The disconnect between critical response and popular enthusiasm revealed something important. The film wasn't made for film critics, but for kids, and the young at heart who recognized their own friendships and adventures in the story, however exaggerated. Perhaps the most contentious aspect of the film upon release was its edgier elements. Several scenes faced censorship in different markets, including Mouth's translated Spanish instructions to the housekeeper, Data's penis joke with his pinchers of power, and the discovery of a nude male statue that prompts the memorable line, "That's my mom's most favorite part." While tame by today's standards, these moments represented a somewhat daring approach to family entertainment in the mid-80s. The film's handling of Chunk's weight, including the infamous truffle shuffle, has also become more controversial over time, with modern viewers questioning its sensitivity, though actor Jeff Cohen has consistently defended these scenes as truthful to his experience. The original theatrical cut actually contained several additional scenes that were later removed from home video releases, including an encounter with a giant octopus during the cave escape, referenced in Data's seemingly nonsensical line, "The octopus was very scary." A convenience store sequence featuring the Fratellis and an extended resolution showing Sloth's new life with Chunk's family were also cut. These lost scenes became the stuff of legend among fans, fueling decades of discussion and debate before finally seeing the light of day in special edition releases. As years passed, The Goonies transcended its status as a mere box office success to become a genuine cultural touchstone. Annual Goonies Day celebrations in Astoria, Oregon, where the film was shot, draw thousands of fans to recreate famous scenes and visit filming locations. The house featured as Mikey and Bran's home became such a popular tourist attraction that its owners eventually grew tired of the constant visitors, temporarily closing it to the public before the town purchased it for preservation. Hidden details and production secrets continue to emerge decades later, fueling the film's mystique. For instance, the pirate ship Inferno was entirely destroyed after filming wrapped because no storage facility could accommodate its massive size. Only photographs remain of this impressive set piece. The waterslide sequence was originally much longer, with the kids encountering skeleton booby traps that proved too frightening in test screenings. And contrary to popular belief, the treasure map used in the film wasn't artificially aged. It was actually created on parchment made from animal skin and tobacco stained to achieve its authentic appearance. Perhaps most fascinating is how The Goonies evolved from a commercial hit to a generational touchstone. Children who watched it in theaters grew up to share it with their own kids, creating a multi-generational audience that few films can claim. What was once criticized as excessive noise and chaos is now celebrated as capturing the authentic spirit of childhood adventure, proving that sometimes the audience understands a film's value long before the critics catch up. Nearly 4 decades later, The Goonies continues to cast a long shadow across popular culture, influencing a generation of creators who grew up watching the film on worn VHS tapes. Its DNA is unmistakably present in Stranger Things, where the Duffer Brothers pay direct homage with their bicycle-riding misfits facing extraordinary dangers, while adults remain oblivious. J.J. Abrams' Super 8 similarly draws from the Goonies template, focusing on childhood friendship against extraordinary circumstances, while Andy Muschietti's adaptation of It echoes the film's outcasts banding together against a threat only they comprehend. Beyond cinema, The Goonies has influenced video game design in titles like Uncharted and Tomb Raider, which incorporate similar puzzle-solving sequences, hidden mechanisms, and ancient treasures. The entire escape room industry owes a debt to the film's secret passages and booby traps. What makes The Goonies remain relevant today goes beyond its adventure elements. It's the emotional core that continues to resonate. In an era of helicopter parenting and structured activities, there's something rebelliously appealing about watching kids navigate genuine danger on their own terms. The film celebrates outsider status in a way that speaks directly to anyone who's ever felt marginalized. Each Goonie has limitations that, in another story, might make them objects of pity, but here become strengths when combined with the group's collective determination. The film's merchandising longevity further demonstrates its cultural staying power. From Lego sets to action figures, board games to clothing lines, The Goonies continues to inspire new products decades after its release. In 2020, when Fox announced development of a TV series where students recreate the movie shot for shot, it confirmed the story's multi-generational appeal. Perhaps most significantly, The Goonies serves as a poignant reminder of a childhood experience that seems increasingly rare in our digital age: the unstructured adventure, free from adult supervision and technological assistance. In a world where parents track their children via smartphone and Google Maps has eliminated geographical mystery, there's something powerfully nostalgic about watching kids navigate by hand-drawn map, relying on friendship rather than technology. As Mikey declares, "Down here, it's our time." That sentiment encapsulates why The Goonies matters. It reminds us of a time when adventure seemed possible just beyond the boundaries of the ordinary, when friendship could overcome any obstacle, and when the greatest treasures weren't the gold and jewels, but the bonds formed during the quest itself. What's your favorite Goonies moment? Drop it in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for more nostalgic deep dives, and remember, Goonies never say die.